G'day guys, this isn't the hunting and fishing gear shed, but this is just my hunting room where obviously keep a lot of my stuff, but just getting gear ready for this next trip. And a few guys have asked for just an idea of the gear I take on the trip and why. So this trip is going to be into Tussock Hut and the Kawekas. We're flying in with crisscross tomorrow in this little R44, so a bit weight restricted, but typically on a helicopter trip we go a little bit more luxury than we do when we walk in. So I thought I'd just show you the gear I'm looking at taking. Forecast is pretty rubbish towards the end of the week, so we're going to be a bit wet, so you'll see I've changed a bit of gear, but in there for 7 days. Don't typically take a lot of dehydrated food for the helicopter trips. If you're going to fly in, why not take some better food? We are going to fly camp one night out on the burn, so we're going to take a little bit of dehy for that, but otherwise we'll be cooking normal meals. So well, yeah, we'll just have a quick look what I've got. Obviously started getting some food over there. You can see the old snacks there for in the hut, especially if it starts getting shitty. Some liquid fuels there, some goo and some peak performance, bit of a backcountry mocha thing, porridge normally for breakfast, brown sugar, just easy sachets, boiled water, pour it in, bag of the old muesli bars and chocolate bar there, some frying butter, bit of pasta, pancakes, always good when it's a rainy day just to have a lunch of pancakes. Coffees, really important with the old coffees, I go through a bit of those, and Coca-Cola, can't go without my sugar, and say a bit of dehy for just the camp away. So it's yeah, just light. I'm going to be taking my pack, I'll show you that shortly, but keeping stuff light for that trip. This trip I'm going to be taking my new rifle actually. It's a Springfield Armory Waypoint 2020 and 6.5 PRC, and topped on that is a new SIG Sierra 6 5-30. I don't know if you guys have seen these things, but I'm a big fan of them. It's a more modern version of what you'd probably used to with the Burris Eliminators. Doesn't look as ugly as the Burris. Basically it looks like a normal scope, has Bluetooth, and I'll show you the rangefinder, but once you've set it all up, when you range your target, the rangefinder Bluetooth to the scope and gives you your holdover. But I'll do a separate video on that and how it works and setting it up. Very, very popular those there now. This trip I'll be taking my Crispy Summits. Like these boots, they're getting on a bit now. Very light boot, dry very quick, I like that. So especially if you're in the hut for a week. See, they're starting to wear a bit, but they dry really quick, so if we have the fire going they'll be dry the next morning. But very light and flexible for stalking the Sika. And clothing, I'm a big fan of Hunter's Element, I must say. I think these guys do a little better than most clothing companies. I find it a little bit more technically designed than some of the others. You know, your pants aren't just straight tubes, they're articulated knees. They don't pull on your thighs when you're walking. You know, all the cuts seem to be good. So yeah, you won't change me, but you say love the camo pattern. I have had so much success with this dissolved pattern sneaking up on animals when I'm doing my photography. I think it works brilliantly. So puffy jacket, taking that mainly for around the hut and when we're out fly camping. A lot of warmth without having to do a lot of work. So if you're sitting around glassing or sitting at camp out in the bush somewhere, you're not having to do a lot of physical work to stay warm. That thing will just keep you warm anyway. Traps a lot of heat. A windproof jacket, that's pretty much my go-to jacket for most of the conditions. Keep the wind off. I overheat a lot, so I don't like a lot of layers. So that's a good layer to wear with a base layer underneath it, and you're comfortable all day. Because it's going to be cold and wet, I'm taking a couple of pairs of pants. I'll take my spur pants, which are my main go-to pants, but I'm also taking a slightly thicker pair there for if it is cold and sitting around glassing a lot. And we're going to get wet, so always having a spare pair is good for around the hut. Obviously socks, Bridgedales, like the Bridgedales and their lifetime warranty. Got waterproof pairs, which I use a lot, and then a normal thick pair. The old sun cap, keep the sun off my noggin. Core base layers, Core and Core Plus. Won't be using the Core Plus a lot when I'm walking around, but when I'm sitting glassing or we're away camping, they'll be my base layer. And a couple of tops, a lightweight and heavyweight top there. So I mean that's probably more than I'd carry if I'm backpacking, but comfortable with taking a bit more clothes in the hut. I got my Odyssey jacket there and obviously rain pants, because we're expecting that wet weather. I got a bag here with a beanie, neck scarf and some gloves in it. That just lives in my day bag, and my coat lives in the day bag pretty much all year round, so no matter what the weather is, I'm always carrying that anyway. So my pack, it will be my 40 litre spiker. I'll probably show you this during the hunt, but man, I'm in love with this pack. As you can see, I've got a range of packs here. I've been through a few. Tenzing's, Mac packs, Tatonkas, Spikers, Sitkas, sorry. I've got some twin needles there. So this thing here is awesome. I'll show you how it works in the field, but I'm not going to need a big pack with the meat load shelf and everything in there, and it just works so well. So that'll be the pack I'll use for day hunting with, and then when we do the overnights I'll use the same pack. I don't need a bigger pack. The old bog roll, toothbrush, the old hut book, sleeping bag. I'll be taking my Thermarest. Packs up fairly nice, very warm bag. Just gave it a good wash too, so thanks to the cat. Neo Air bed mat, so when we're in the field, won't need it at the hut, but nice lightweight compact mat. Just make it more comfortable out there. And my twin needle sill tarp, had this made up a couple of years ago and it's done really well, but that'll be our fly camp shelter. If it's going to be shitty weather we won't be going, so I won't need a big tent or anything like that. While we're fly camping, I'm going to take my MSR wind burner. I'll take the 1.8 litre pot. There's going to be two of us, so one boil of that will give us a couple of meals and coffees for the night, and then breakfast in the morning, so don't have to do multiple boils. If I'm by myself, I'd usually just take the 1 litre pot. Bit of cutlery there for around the hut. Hydro pack. I carry a 2 litre water bladder in my pack, purely for water. Save you getting dehydrated, especially in the tussock if it's hot. And I got a little 750 stash bottle there, which is what I mix up my peak performance liquid fuel in, and that way I keep any flavouring tint that gets into the bottle, not that those actually get any, but into the one bottle, and keep my water bladder just for water. And I got a couple of spare bladders there, so when we're fly camping I can carry water to the camp, because I know where we're going there's going to be no water at all. little who's that? That's Thermarest actually. It's a little ridge seat, especially if it's wet or we're sitting on rocky ground. Little glassine seat sits on the side of my pack. Earplugs, bit of paracord there, cleaning kit, had that for a few years. And in this little bag here I've got a few knickknacks, pliers, lighters, bit of repair gear for mats or anything like that if I need to. These Kafari bags, these things are awesome. They're a sil nylon, they weigh nothing. You see I got a few of them with gear packed in it, but good for organising stuff in your day bag when you're carrying it around. I've also got an orange one there, that's my first aid kit. So that's obviously got the normal stuff in it, blood clotting, bandages, that sort of thing. A little Garmin inReach, that's our communication and basically takes the place of my EPIRB. Use that a lot for calling in choppers early or communicating with the outside. Wouldn't go anywhere without it. My kill gear, I run this knife here. This is MJK, it's called the Jack. This thing is friggin' brilliant. Nice blade, good shape, it's good for everything. I think that's why it's called the Jack of all trades. That lives on my day bag. I don't carry a separate knife belt. I'll show you when it's on there, but that just sits there all the time. Carry the old silky saw, pruning a bit of vegetation and something like that. It's always handy. Skull capping, making ribs. And here's another bag I keep in my day bag. This is my kill bag. So in it I've got a couple of Hunter's Element meat bags. I have where is it? Steel in there. That's this 4 diamond steel for the big knife. I've got some looped cords here. I use these, I'll show you in the field, but I use these for hanging up quarters in the so when we're skinning them and boning them out, they're hanging up and they're not sitting in the dirt and crap, so keeps things nice and clean. And I have a little, it's one of my favourite knives, little scalpel blade knife. I do most of the stuff I do with actually a scalpel blade knife when I'm breaking them down. The big knife's good for cutting throats and doing a lot of skinning, but for breaking down, you'll see it weighs absolutely nothing. It's super sharp and you can just flick a new blade on when you need to, but that's pretty much my go-to knife for breaking animals down, and that all just lives permanently in the day bag anyway. A couple of books. Bino harness, always wearing that even when I'm bush hunting. I just love it. It's got the a little wind powder on the side there, and I have my BDX rangefinder in here, which you'll see when I do the video on the scope system, but that's always on there as well. Hoochie Mama, Sika hunting. I don't know if you guys have seen these. I use them down in Fiordland for the wapiti, but I find them useful in the bush. I can't whistle, but often you can get an animal to stop or to be a bit inquisitive and come in, and yeah, I find that works really well with the Sika. Camera gear, that's my P950 Nikon. It's my second Nikon P900 series. You'll see the other ones up there. This one just gives you the ability to run a separate mic, which you will see there, and thanks to some advice from Mudgy, I've got myself a dead cat to go on top of it. Just try and cut down the wind noise. The video camera is not bad, but the still camera of the 950 isn't that great with the wind. You get a lot of wind noise. So the 950 gives you the ability to run the external mic. It shoots in RAW as well, which the 900 doesn't. It's got a couple of nicer menu features in there as well, so I've gone to that for my main camera, and an 83x zoom, so it really gets in. Carbon tripod goes with me everywhere. It actually works well as a rest for some of the taller tussock, so you can actually have a little mount that goes on top to be a soft rest, but otherwise it's mainly on camera duty. A little lantern. It's a little cheap Chinese lantern, bug lantern. I don't use it really for bugs, but you'll see that in the hut. That lights up a hut, no worries. So it's rechargeable. So we take that when we go to the dock hut, so you're not walking around with your headlamp all the time. So you got good lighting. Little battery bank there. I think that's a power traveller setup, that one there. It actually does wireless charging for your phone if you want to, otherwise you just plug in. And my MH10 LED lenser. I like this thing. It's not as powerful as the new ones, the big ones, but it runs the 18650 battery, and I've just never run it out of power. So even the big nights when you're walking back or whatever, you just don't have to worry about battery changes. It's always got power, and it's 600 lumens. It's got some grunt anyway, so you can spotlight with it if you really want to be out at night. And solar panel. This goes with me to all the huts. So during the day you can throw it out, charge up the battery bank, charge up the lantern, charge up your headlight, charge up your phone, basically whatever you want. You can just plug in and top up any battery sources you need. So that's pretty much the gear for the trip. I got a bit of frozen meat and that in the freezer, which will go into the chili bag tomorrow morning. Everything will be packed in the box, and then what doesn't go into my day bag I'll just throw into the dive bag for the trip into the hut. Most of it will get unpacked at the hut and just sitting around. So yeah, so that's pretty much my gear for the hut, or for the hunt. You'll see a bit of it in action. I'll try and explain things like the pack and the rifle system separately. But yeah, now I just got to get it packed up, make sure I'm within the weight limit, and then yeah, off. Next thing we'll see is trip to Napier and off to Chris's. We'll catch you there.